Hello, everybody. My name is Quinn. You might know me as Quinn the GM, Quinn the Game Master on Twitter. Um, this is my YouTube channel. I didn't really have any initial plans to make this. Honestly, my idea for this was just something that was going to be too long to fit into 280 characters. I think that's how many characters Twitter has. But anyway, I welcome you all. This is my first video here. The undoubtedly tiny audience that I will have, probably just my close friends. But I wanted to make a video to complain a lot about something I don't like in D&D, which is probably just a me thing. But I don't know, maybe it's you too. So stay tuned. So as you can likely tell from the incredibly subtle title, description, and thumbnail of this video, I'm going to be talking about my least favorite monster in Dungeons & Dragons, at least in 5th edition. That is the edition that I've played the most of. That being the wonderful bullet, as pictured here in my monster manual. Now, getting into kind of specifics on this thing, lore-wise, it's actually kind of cool, and I like it a lot. It's known as like a land shark type of creature. It's this metal monstrosity that burrows to the ground and eats basically anything it can possibly come across. It's not intelligent in any way. It is purely animalistic. It doesn't even understand any languages. And they're known to, as I said, eat anything that is in their path, similarly to like a tiger shark in our world. They're known as the trash cans of the sea or something similar. I think Shark Week has been a while. Additionally, there's a cool lore note that they're theorized to be an arcane creation caused by a mad wizard's experiments crossbreeding snapping turtles and armadillos, which is a fairly cool and flavorful uh, origin point of any creature. But where I more have issues with it, and I think it's more of a me thing than a design thing, and I'm going to get into that, but is the design of the stat block itself. So moving on to the mechanics of the bullet, the area with which I actually have a bit of an issue. It's fairly standard in a lot of regards. It's got a high AC of 17, which is very much in line with its metal plating covering its entire body. It's got a decent amount of hit points. It's got a speed and burrow speed of 40 feet, which could be interesting, allowing it to pop out of the ground in various places. Stats are fairly standard, very much weak points in intelligence and charisma. It's surprisingly perceptive, and even more so with a tremor sense and a high passive perception. And it's only challenge rating 5, which I've found can be fairly low for reasons that I'm going to get into here in a second. Um, the only trait it has outside of its actions is its standing leap, giving a long jump of up to 30 feet and a high jump of up to 15 feet, which will come in handy for one of its actions. It has 2 potential actions, both of which are damaging attacks. The first is a bite, which will be the second I get into because it's a lot. And the second one is deadly leap. So if the bullet jumps at least 15 feet as a part of its movement, it can then use its action to land on its feet in a space that contains one or more other creatures. Each of those creatures must succeed on a DC 16 strength or dexterity saving throw, target's choice, or be knocked prone and take essentially 66 plus 8 slashing and bludgeoning damage, or half as much on success. Aspect of Deadly Leap that I actually really enjoy is the fact that the player character is able to decide between it being a strength saving throw or a dexterity saving throw. This is both realistic as to the effect itself, in that a character is able to kind of either nimbly dodge out of the way or just brute force stand their ground. I think this also helps the mechanics of it in that it's not impossible to dodge the status effect of prone and the large amount of damage coming from the 3d6 plus 4 bludgeoning and 3d6 plus 4 slashing. However, this leads into the other action in the stat block, which is more of where my issue resides. This issue I have with the bullet is its bite attack. It seems specifically designed to one-shot PCs of the level at which this is an appropriate enemy. It does 4d12 plus 4 piercing damage on a single attack, plus 7 to hit, 5-foot range, so pretty standard in those regards. But 4d12 is about the amount of health that any given PC, say for maybe a barbarian or a tanky fighter, would be able to have at any given level. If you get crit by this thing, you're pretty much done for. I'm currently running a game for a bunch of level 5 players who are around the level at which I'd throw a couple bullets at them, maybe one, depending on if it were a part of a day of adventuring or something. But a single average attack roll from that could knock out probably a third of that party in a single hit, as they have less than 30 hit points, which is the average roll there. Um, Speaking from personal experience a bit, my longest running character, Thermidor Luther, had one death in the campaign he was in, and it was against two bullets. We were in a mine, and our party had split up to further investigate some dwarven ruins, and myself and the monk were just kind of going through a treasure hoard, and we were ambushed by two of these things kind of coming out of a wall and attacking us. The monk ran to the back and started firing arrows, whereas I got sandwiched between them and continued getting flanked. Um, I thought I could distract them and the monk could probably pick them off, but I was very, very incorrect. I got cornered and I ended up dying. But that was also probably on me. I was a Vengeance Paladin and I had access to Misty Step. I just forgot. I choose to believe that I got too deep into playing a 7 intelligence character. But that might be my own lack of intelligence shining through. Either is very, very possible. But regardless of that, bite still seems a bit much to me, in addition to kind of segmenting the playstyle of the bullet, in that you're constantly having to switch between either choosing to bite or to deadly leap, and either seems not the most optimal for any given turn. Ideally, you'd want to do both in a turn, which is what we'll come to now with my suggested redesigns for this monster. Well, I've been complaining a lot. How do I plan on actually fixing this in both my games and hopefully in a way that you'd be able to apply to yours? Well, I think I have a fairly elegant solution in that I think that the bite attack should be divided in two. I think that the bullet should be given multi-attack and be able to make two bite attacks per round. However, each of these bite attacks should only do 2d12 or maybe even 2d10 plus 4. In that case, if they do crit on one, it'll still be quite the hefty hit to any character, but it is very much unlikely to overkill a character from full or near full health. Um, Particularly, I think this could also end up working well with Deadly Leap. A bullet can end up having a choice between two bite attacks in a round, or the chance to Deadly Leap, and should the Deadly Leap knock somebody prone within 5 feet of the bullet, maybe make a bite attack as a bonus action. There have been enemies able to do similar things in 5th edition, and I think it's a bit of a flavorful addition that allows it to more take advantage of the ability for which it has become famous, being able to actually leap on and then bite a target. Additionally, if one were to find that this would decrease the effectiveness of the bullet, I would also suggest perhaps bumping the AC with a little bit more metal plating or giving it a little more hit points in order to make it a bit of a harder encounter for the party, despite not having as much potential to one-shot kill any. Another way to make this now less powerful bullet more interesting could be to have it take advantage of its burrowing speed a lot more. Few creatures in the game have access to a burrowing speed, and it provides for some pretty unique gameplay opportunities. It could potentially grapple a creature in its mouth and then drag it below the earth, or it could reposition through a wall and emerge on the other side of a room. Really, it's all about the terrain in which the encounter takes place, and that PCs may find themselves limited by tight corridors or being picked off in the open. All of these things are important things to consider for any encounter, but for the Blight particularly, the burrowing speed allows you to have a lot more fun with terrain as well. So what do you think? Do you agree with my analysis and potential improvements to the Blight, or do you think it's a great monster as is? I'd love to hear any of your experience or stories regarding them or their use in the comments below. Be sure to leave anything there. Additionally, feel free to like, subscribe, all those things. I'm new at this. I realize I probably should have said that earlier, but it's cool. I'm going with it here. I don't want to disrupt the flow I've made. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed, and I may make more of these in the future. We'll see how the response to this one is. So yeah, I hope everybody has a good day, and I'll see you all soon.